Well, I got a great respect for these guys that do documentaries. This is about my 5th take on this little thing, so here we go. I told you I'd do a thing on a little tutorial, whatever, on my hoop house, and by golly, I'm going to do it, whether you want me to or not. I'm determined now. But my hoop house is made out of nothing but those top railings of a chain link fence, bent into an arc. That top purling up there you see, that's nothing more than the same thing, just fairly straight line. And at the bottom here, those hoops go into those upright sections of a chain link fence pipe driven into the ground at a, match the angle of the arc, so to slide in easier. At the interface, I've got duct tape to keep the plastic from rubbing. You have to have that anyway, so I go ahead and put my hoops in there, tape it up, and then go back through and start screwing and stuff. But what I wanted to go over here is, like, you need to square this hoop house up. It just makes it life so much easier. So what I did when I got one line laid out when I was making my hoop house, that's going to be one side of it, exactly where I need it to go. Stretched 100-foot tape. And that'll give me a straight line and give me measurements to, all of one. How to, have to stretch straight and measure. You just got it all one whack. It is a hoop house. So at every 6 foot, I drove in one of those little uprights to put my hoop in. Now to get her squared up, say this is the end of the greenhouse. My greenhouse is a 14-foot wide. So I stretch that out there 15 feet. And of course this one out here will be going, approximately 50. 48, 47 on mine. But the thing about it is you want to get this thing squared up. So we use a 3, 4, 5 method. And that is, if you come out here increments of 3, which in this part we'll use foot for an increment, that's 3 foot. Then on the other leg we'll go 4 foot, right there where that scratch line is. And then if you measure that scratch line from that 4 foot mark down to this 3 foot mark, that'll be 5 feet. So you got 3, 4, 5. And all you're going for there is that 3, 4, 5. It can be any multiples, whereas mine is 15. I stretched it out there, so 3 into 15 is 5. So use 5 as an increment. So 5 times 4, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Go out there 20 foot. So the next leg is 5. So it's 5 times 5. 3, 4, 5. 3 times 5, 4 times 5, 5 times 5. So 25 feet from that 20 foot mark down to the 15. Get that lined up, and that'll give you a right angle here at this corner. So it's 3, 4, 5. It'd be increments of anything. Just 3, 4, 5. 5 being your hypotenuse. And if you do that, then you can make a right angle anywhere you go. 3 inches, 3 foot, 3 miles. But if you go out, one leg is 3 and multiples thereof, 4 multiples thereof, and then that hypotenuse is 5 and multiples thereof. And that's what gives you your right angle. Okay. Don't you feel smarter? I don't. Okay, now, spin around here, dizzy, carnival ride. Okay, so what I did was I stretched that 100-foot tape, got a straight line. As you can see, this is really straight. By the time you draw them, it's not going to be straight, so try to start out straight. All the hoops are bent by hand, so they're not going to all be the same. Once you get plastic, it looks much better, trust me. So I used the old composite plastic deck lumber stuff. Heavy, floppy, but it don't rot. And all I did was I just spliced 3 16-foot boards together, make one continuous board. Heavy, get around. And what I did, drill a hole through both pipes into that on the back side here, and ran them into that board. And I go back through and I drive in wooden stakes, and do that, because otherwise, I found that one perv, they might last so long because you're going to eventually make you sing a Swiss cheese, because everything moves. It's going to be different every year, trust me on that. Otherwise it'll take you forever to get up. But anyway, What I do here, look at that. Is that hillbilly tech or not, man? I grew up here, 5 generations. What I found was I used bolts. Bolts would break and get brittle over time. Had to line up holes, had to have a hole drilled in your hoop. Getting that lined up on this uneven terrain, because I had to move it, rotation. So what I did, I just kept the holes in the every 6 foot in this purlin. Every 6 foot, and that spaces it out just like on the ground. Run a wire up through that, and then just wrap it around that. And then I'm going to put duct tape, because you have to if you have a bolt or whatever anyway, keep from braiding the plastic. And it's a lot easier for one man to do, take down, whatever, and that way you don't end up trying to line up holes every year. I mean holes, did I say poles? Line up holes every year. So, and it works just fine, because I got to take it down, move it again, so not a big deal. And that's as far as I can get on today, I reckon. Let me show you this. I got one other deal that I splurged on, and that's along this rail. You can see I've got this channel. Let's see here. And what that does is holds my plastic in place. Put a little squiggle wire in there instead of like stapling or whatever, and that'll save my plastic. Pretty expensive. And then what I do, I just dig a little trench down through when I get done, and bury that little flapping edge of plastic. And then I keep this. Don't saw off the edge or nothing, because it ain't gonna line up next year. Trust me on that one. Unless you're just want to be one of them people. But I'll leave this flapped out here, and I'll show you why. That comes in handy later, that little extension. Okay. So far, so good, I think. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.